Speaking of roundtable discussions, you know what makes me feel good being a ham
What's that?
is having a question, coming up with a way to test it, and actually figuring it out. The
Yeah.
other day, I built a battery box. Kate MRD gave me some inspiration to finally put one together. And I thought to myself, what happens if I am powering the battery box? So if I have two feeds, right? So if I have 120 volt AC to 12 volt DC power supply, and I have the battery box on the same DC bus, what happens to the current? So I said, all right, I have a 30 amp DC power supply, and I have a 10 amp fuse on my DC bus on the battery. If I hook up a 15 amp load, does the fuse blow? And I never knew about this topic until I tested it, but it's called nodal analysis. And I learned something new that day about nodal analysis and how I literally took a power supply, a variable power supply, and turned up the voltage from 8 volts to 13 14 volts, and I watched the current on the battery box go from I hooked like a light bulb or a fan up to it or something. I was pulling like 2 amps of current. And I watched the battery have the load, and then as I turned up the voltage on the power supply on the same DC bus, I watched the battery shed the load, and the voltage as the voltage went up on the power supply, I watched the power supply take that load. And it was kind of cool to watch and see and learn that.
Well, we're always learning every day.
Well, that's what this hobby's all about.